Hello everyone, welcome to the AdCup Show. On September 17th, 2025, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan signed a historic strategic mutual defense agreement in Riyadh. This pact is making waves across the Middle East and South Asia, with some calling it a bold new chapter in regional security, while others see it as a risky move that could reshape alliances. So what's in this deal? Why it was signed and what does it mean for the world? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about agreement itself. This agreement was signed during state visit by Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif to Riyadh. This pact commits both nations to treat an attack on one as an attack on both. It's a NATO-styled mutual defense clause, which means if Saudi Arabia or Pakistan faces aggression, the other is obligated to step in. The agreement is described as comprehensive, covering all military needs, from joint training to potential defense production. While it doesn't explicitly mention nuclear weapons, there is speculation about Pakistan's nuclear arsenal playing a role which will probably be a nightmare for both Iran and Israel. The pact builds on decades of close military ties. Pakistan has been training Saudi forces since the 1960s, with over 8,200 Saudi personnel trained by Pakistan. Both countries are very close to America. There are already 1,500 to 2,000 Pakistani troops stationed in Saudi Arabia, and this deal could increase that number, along with more joint exercises and maybe even co-developed weapon systems. So why is this a big deal? This agreement isn't just about two countries shaking hands. It's a signal to the world. Saudi Arabia and Pakistan are sending a message about their strategic priorities in a volatile region. The pact strengthens their already tight relationship rooted in shared Islamic faith, economic ties, and mutual security concerns. But to understand why they signed it now, we need to look at the bigger picture. Reason number one is regional instability and Israel's action. The timing of this pact is no coincidence. On September 9, 2025, Israel launched an airstrike in Doha, Qatar, targeting Hamas leaders, killing 6 people. This attack, reportedly greenlit by the Trump administration, sent shockwaves through the Arab world. And guess what? Qatar hosts the biggest US military base outside of America. Saudi Arabia, led by Mohammed bin Salman, has been vocal about Gaza conflict, calling it a genocide. The Qatar strike raised fear among Gulf states that Israel's actions are escalating unchecked. And this pact is a direct response, a way to show Israel and the world that Saudi Arabia and Pakistan are ready to stand together. Pakistan is the world's most powerful Muslim country. The pact is a signal to Israel, widely believed to be the Middle East's only nuclear-armed state. With Pakistan's nuclear capabilities in the mix, some analysts speculate that this could be Saudi Arabia's way of securing a nuclear umbrella without saying it outright. Reason number two, doubts about America. Another key driver is the Gulf's growing distrust of the United States of America. Decline of America is clearly visible, and this can be seen everywhere in America, from political to economy. For decades, Saudi Arabia relied on US as its primary security partner. But recent events have shaken that trust. The US reportedly rebuffed Saudi Arabia's request for a formal defense agreement and civilian nuclear technology, tying those to normalization with Israel. Saudi Arabia refused, unwilling to normalize ties in the Gaza war. Pakistan in all this comes very handy. It's a reliable ally with a strong military and nuclear weapons. This pact shows Saudi Arabia is diversifying its alliances, looking beyond America for security guarantees. However, it looks like this defense pact was signed in the presence of America. You can say that America is trying to now pull back, but also trying to fill that security vacuum. Pakistan, meanwhile, gets a powerful partner to bolster its economy and regional influence, especially after its economic struggles and a $3 billion Saudi loan in 2024. Pakistan isn't a rich country. The GDP per capita is below $2,000. The country doesn't have any resources and industrial base. However, Pakistan has a very powerful military which will listen to Saudi's demand as Saudi Arabia gives billions of dollars of loan to Pakistan. Reason number three is countering Iran. Both Saudi Arabia and Pakistan see Iran as a regional rival, especially since 1979 Islamic Revolution. Iran's nuclear ambitions and its influence in places like Yemen and Syria worry both nations. Pakistan's nuclear arsenal and large military make it the natural counterweight to Iran, and this pact strengthens that strategic alignment. This is not really an Islamic NATO as projected. It's more like a Sunni Islamic alliance which is backed by America. For Saudi Arabia, having Pakistan as a defense partner means more leverage against Iran, especially as tensions over the Tehran nuclear program persists. For Pakistan, it's a chance to cement its role as a key player in the Muslim world. However, Pakistan lacks the economic depth which is required for this kind of dominance. Reason number four is Pakistan's regional play. For Pakistan, this pact comes at a critical time. In May 2025, Pakistan and India clashed in a brief but intense conflict involving missiles and drones, leaving 70 dead. Saudi Arabia reportedly helped to de-escalate that crisis, and this pact may be Pakistan's way of thanking Riyadh while strengthening its position against India. In the conflict with India, India was easily able to establish their dominance by destroying 11 military bases of Pakistan within a couple of hours. This included Pakistan's most important military base, Noor Khan Base. But apart from all this, Saudi Arabia also has a strong ties with India, its second largest trading partner. The pact's announcement came with assurance that it's not aimed at India, showing Saudi Arabia's delicate balancing between two nuclear-armed rivals. Now let's address the elephant in the room, nuclear weapons. Pakistan is a nuclear power, and there is a long-standing speculation that Saudi Arabia, which reportedly funded parts of Pakistan's nuclear program decades ago, might want access to that capability. The pact's vague language about all military means fuel this debate. So the question is, could Saudi Arabia be seeking a nuclear deterrence through Pakistan? Analysts say it's possible but unlikely to be explicit, as both nations want to avoid international backlash. Still, the ambiguity is strategic. It keeps adversaries guessing while strengthening deterrence without crossing the red lines. So what does this mean for the region? First, it could inspire other Gulf states like the UAE or Qatar to pursue similar deals with Pakistan, creating broader security network. Second, it might complicate Saudi Arabia's ties with India, though both sides are downplaying that risk. Third, it's a wake-up call for the US, showing that Gulf states are seeking new partners as American influence wanes. By the way, over 80% of military equipments which Pakistan uses are of Chinese origin. Now you draw your own conclusions about that. Some argue that the pact is more symbolic than practical, a way to flex diplomatic muscles rather than commit to joint wars. But its impact is undeniable. It's a bold move in the region on edge, with implications for everyone from Israel to Iran to India. The Saudi-Pakistan's defense pact is a game changer, born out of distrust and ambitions. It's a reminder that in a world of shifting alliances, nations like Saudi Arabia and Pakistan are rewriting the rules to secure their future. However, Pakistan isn't really an effective partner, but it'll listen to whatever Saudi Arabia and America says. So what do you think? Will this pact stabilize the region or stir up more tensions? Drop your thoughts and comments, and let's keep this conversation going. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dives into global events. See you in the next one. Peace out.